Payments are complex business, especially in the case of international settlement and clearing. It isn't as simple as having two parties, or companies in this case, and transferring money bilaterally. There are many stages to a transaction which often isn't considered. Currently, most banks, including TSB, use SWIFT. Established in 1973, the SWIFT network enables users worldwide to exchange automated standardized financial information, reliably and securely. Its domestic messaging channel, or DMC, is a low-latency messaging network that connects all participants to give and receive financial information flows. It's not a clearing or settlement system, so it doesn't hold funds, neither does it manage any accounts on behalf of the banks or customers. It's essentially a common infrastructure. Think of it as a WhatsApp or a Telegram that banks can use in order to communicate with one another. In order to best illustrate how the SWIFT network plays a role in international payments, or rather, any payments going across proprietary networks, a simplified example is used. As seen in the diagram, TSB's client, Company X, is based in the UK. In return for its services, Company Y, based in Australia, sends an invoice to Company X. When Company X requests to make the payment to Company Y, the payment process essentially begins, as seen in stage 1 in the diagram. Each country has its own domestic clearing and settlement system. For instance, in the US, it's the clearinghouse, in the UK, it's BACS, and in Australia, it's AusNet or BPay. These function as an intermediary between the parties. TSB would communicate via SWIFT with its correspondent bank in, say, Sydney, the data supporting the transaction, as seen in Step 2. Step 3 involves a transfer of funds across each party's correspondent accounts, for which the beneficiary's correspondent account, or ANZ's correspondent bank in this case, would send the funds through its own domestic clearing and settlement network, into Company Y's account within ANZ, finally ending up in Company Y's balance sheet. Therefore, the cost of payment is highly determined by the route in which the payment takes. In essence, SWIFT is arguably an antiquated network. It's been beneficial over the past 46 years, but now is in need of an alternative, especially in the case of TSB. 2018 was TSB's most challenging year, with a statutory loss before tax of £105.4 million. And as admitted in the annual report, they've let customers down. Perhaps a revised network for international settlement and clearing could go some way to aiding you in your corporate strategy, and we intend to make a suggestion of how to do so via the use of distributed ledger technologies, in particular, the Ripple network.
Our recommendation to the SWIFT problem mentioned previously is to implement Ripple as a cross-border transaction solution. Ripple is a company that offers institutions several payment processing solutions using blockchain technology. It also holds its own cryptocurrency called XRP. The way Ripple offers this solution is through RippleNet, which is set up to provide quicker and easier transactions for institutions. RippleNet offers 3 different solutions: xCurrent, XV, and xRapid. xCurrent is a payment solution software that allows banks to settle cross-border payments instantaneously using end-to-end tracking. xRapid is used by payment providers as a way to reduce liquidity costs when converting between fiat currencies. This payment solution uses XRP to offer quick liquidity while reducing costs and is still currently in development. XVIA is a payment solution for corporates, payment providers, and banks who want to send payments across different networks using a standard interface and use Ripple network in order to provide this. In addition to these services, Ripple has their own cryptocurrency, XRP. They hold about 60 billion XRP out of the 100 billion in circulation. The currency itself is not used for trading, but rather as a tool to transfer between different fiat currencies. Although XRP is a cryptocurrency, it vastly differs from other cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. Bitcoin was developed as a payment system for goods and services. It was developed entirely to be a decentralized network for the purpose of financial transactions without the use of third parties such as banks. On the other hand, Ripple was developed as a solution for banks and payment networks. XRP is used mainly in Ripple's xRapid solution for cross-border payments from one currency to another. XRP is currently held mostly by the parent company, which is a big difference from Bitcoin because this is considered more centralized. Another key difference is that all of the XRP has been pre-mined with 100 billion currently in circulation, while Bitcoin still needs to be mined. An advantage XRP has over Bitcoin is that transactions using XRP occur almost instantaneously, while Bitcoin can take hours. Having a better understanding of who Ripple are and what they offer, we're going to recommend incorporating xCurrent solutions into TSB's cross-border transaction system. As mentioned, Xcurrent allows banks to have cross-border payments instantaneously with lower cost. It is designed for banks with existing risks, compliances, and information security frameworks in mind. The software is built into the bank's infrastructure and is done to align itself with the bank's existing systems using an API interface. There are currently many benefits of using Xcurrent. One of the benefits is the speed of transaction, offering almost instantaneous transaction settlements across borders. Xcurrent can also reduce operational costs of transferring money. This is due to the ability to efficiently exchange information about the sender, receiver, fee rates, delivery estimate, and payment status, allowing the operational cost of an transfer to be decreased. Xcurrent also increases the certainty of transaction going through, and this is due to the ability for end-to-end visibility in fees, status, and customer information. Finally, Xcurrent can offer customers a consistent experience, allowing banks to have a competitive advantage. Xcurrent also has advantages over the current banking transaction system, SWIFT. Xcurrent can handle cross-border transactions at about 4 seconds per transaction, which is much faster than the current system, which can only process transactions between 3 to 5 days. Also, Xcurrent can create greater savings for cross-border transactions than what SWIFT offers. One of the benefits is that the SWIFT fee for transactions is taken away, reducing costs. Assuming that TSB has 150,000 transactions annually, valued at $50 million annually, using Ripple's solution can provide savings of $3.76 per transaction, meaning $564,000 savings annually. The technology behind Xcurrent's payment solution will be provided in the next section.
Core technology of Xcurrent is built around Ledger Protocol, which is managed by a non-profit group. So LP is an open neutral protocol and enables interoperation between different ledgers and payment networks. LP involves 3 types of participants: a sender, receiver, and a connector who connects between sender and receiver to forward the LP packets of transaction. A connector is a system that facilitates interledger payment by coordinating transfers on multiple ledgers and translates between different protocols used by this ledger. IOP operates like this. The sending application uses a higher-level protocol to negotiate the address amount, a cryptographic condition, and the timeout with the destination. It calls on the interledger model to send the payment with its parameters. The interledger model prepares the IOP packet and sends the transfer to the next connector along with the interledger packet and according to the parameters given. The transfer and interledger packet will be received by the next host interledger model and handed by each successive connectors and finally to the destination application module. The destination application recognizes that funds are on hold pending on condition fulfillment. It will check the details of the incoming transfer against what was agreed upon. And if the check passes, the application passes condition fulfillment to the interledger module, and the fulfillment condition is checked by successive interledger module and finally passes back to the sender application. And the sender application receives the notification and reacts accordingly. In the process, a system is needed to validate that all participants' ledgers are ready. It's called validator. It serves as an authoritative clock in the process, which means ledgers ignore their own clock and agree with what validator's timeline and decision to approve or reject a transaction. Once it receives the proof that all banks have funds on hold, it will send the execute message, and participants' ledger will execute the transaction automatically. The proof is the ID of the overall transaction, the condition, the expiration time, and which ledger to notify when there is a finite outcome. Transaction details remain private only to the transacting banks. Validators are selected by the participants based on Byzantine fault-tolerant consensus algorithm that ensures no validator will collude against the participants. Banks can run their own validator or rely on their transacting counterparty's validator. Xcurrent also rely on 2 other components to function. First, the messenger. An API-based messenger module enables bidirectional communication between connected RippleNet banks. Second, the foreign exchange ticker provides exchange rate and coordinates transfers on LP ledger. Xcurrent is architected to fit within a bank's existing infrastructure, resulting in minimal business disruption. Next, my partner will tell us how it is used in real case.
Santander is the largest financial institution in the Eurozone. It has more than 140 million retail and commercial customers in the world. the bank launched OnePayFX, a mobile application which integrates Xcurrent, allows users to send and receive money across Europe and the US. This makes Santander the first UK bank using blockchain technology in cross-border payment. It is very easy to use the app. Users just need to complete their profile detail and can start to make payments. They usually arrive on the same day. The limit of transfer is between £10 and £10,000. The payments can be made from British pounds to euro and US dollar. There is no transaction fee at the moment. Technology behind this app is Xcurrent, provided by Ripple, which essentially makes the process of checking information required to make transactions much quicker and does not require any cryptocurrency to work. There is two limitations in this case about the app. The transactions can be only funded with a Santander debit card, which means it is not possible for a non-Santander customer, and it only works on iOS systems so far.
We now have a case study about Axis Bank, which is India's third largest private bank. It has joined the Ripple network, which uses Xcurrent blockchain technology. This service enables its retail customers to receive payments from RAK Bank in the UAE and for the corporate customers from Standard Chartered in Singapore. The benefits of this technology is that it ensures there is fast transaction, which in turn improves customer satisfaction. Also, this leads to transparent, cheaper, secure delivery of money across international borders. Through the course of this presentation, we have seen the strengths of the technology such as cost reduction, security, reliability, higher speed, data protection, which in turn lead to better customer experience. Also, the reduced cost from using Xcurrent can greatly help TSB to elevate their financial losses in 2018. It is important for us to keep in mind the weaknesses arising from this technology, which is that money cannot be transferred to the banks which are not part of RippleNet. This means TSB's customers might not be happy when compared to SWIFT network, which is big. But this technology provides many opportunities. Firstly, it ensures that the bank is compliant with PSD2 regulations. Secondly, it helps TSB to be a part of bigger growing network of Ripple banks. And finally, SWIFT, which is alternative to Ripple, is not scalable, but Ripple is easily scalable thanks to the technology it uses. Here are some of the threats for TSB going into Ripple network. Firstly, it is that there is a competition between Ripple and SWIFT as global solution payment solver. Though TSB should make the bet on Ripple's promising tech to reverse its challenging situation in 2018 and be the head of companies to leverage on blockchain, it also should realize that Ripple's blockchain may not overthrow SWIFT's dominant place on global payment solutions. Finally, there's always a threat of brand image to TSB, which is that it might be affected by associating itself with Ripple instead of SWIFT. Keeping in mind the SWOT analysis mentioned previously, we think TSB should join Ripple's network. Ripple is already compliant with newer legislation such as PSD2, since Ripple's technology comes with a timestamp on every transaction. In order to join Ripple's network, TSB would need to contact Ripple about the prospect of joining. Both TSB and Ripple need to go into agreement that states that they are going to follow the rules and regulations stated in Ripple's rulebook to ensure transition is smoothly executed. The goal of Ripple's rulebook is to make sure TSB and Ripple operate as efficient as possible in order to have a good end product for the customers of the bank. Once TSB has joined Ripple's network, we recommend initiating an agile deployment system. Setting up an agile system requires iterative and incremental development where requirements and solutions evolve through collaborations between self-organizing cross-functional teams. Trailing the technology in-house first, introducing the payment system to staff as done by Santander in order to receive feedback would be one way to achieve this. Next, potentially trailing the technology on bilateral transfers with the partner bank, for instance, before adopting Xcurrent technology on a wider scale. We believe by doing this, we can help elevate TSB's customer experience with the bank and hopefully lead to successful years in the future. This ends our presentation on RippleNet solution. We hope this can help you make a decision on what to do in the future. Thank you.